is the best center in the NBA? We've definitely seen the center position change over the last decade, and we're seeing all new types of archetypes come into the league and cause a storm with unique play styles and things you haven't been able to see centers do in the past. So today we're going to talk about who we both think is the best center in the NBA this year. It's definitely a close race between a couple of guys. We're going to get straight into it. Drew, who do you think right now is the best center in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, if you follow the NBA, you pretty much know who these two guys we're talking about are. We're talking about Jokic and Embiid. There's really no wrong answer when you're talking about who's better between Embiid and Jokic. I mean, these are two superstars and two players who have really evolved the center position. Aiden was talking about a bunch of new archetypes coming in, archetype centers coming in. I mean, these are two guys who have really changed the center position and the way people are starting to look at centers. Now, to answer the question, who's better between Embiid and Jokic, I just still think Jokic has the slight edge. I mean, this is a guy who's averaging almost 26 points per game. He's top 10, or he's second in rebounds per game and top 10 in assists per game. I mean, this is a center we're talking about. Yes, Embiid is leading the lead in scoring, but Jokic being a leader in all three of those categories, I mean, it's hard to overlook that. I know the East, I mean, Embiid has definitely kept the Sixers, in that playoff race. I mean, the East is very competitive this year. I mean, I think the first seed and the eighth seed are separated by just a few games. So, I mean, it's a very competitive that you can argue the East is a lot better. So that's definitely a fair argument to make for Joel Embiid as well. But Jokic has definitely just proven to us that he's definitely the best center in the league. He's been proving that for all these years. And I think this season has been one of his most efficient. I mean, the guy's almost shooting 60% from the field, which is crazy. That's just crazy efficient right there. He's almost making 10 of his 17 shots that he takes, and he's an 80% free throw shooter. And from a center, if you have a center that shoots 80% from the line, that's huge. So that's pretty much my brief intro of me explaining why Jokic, I think, has the slight edge on Embiid. Aiden, you go ahead and give us your thoughts on the whole Embiid versus Jokic debate.
Yeah, I got Embiid. He's the top scorer in the NBA after his 40-point game against the Bulls last night. It's February 7th right now. So also, like you said, he's kept the 76ers in contention in the East, and he's just the best scorer of the basketball right now. I would argue even better than Kevin Durant. I mean, just his arsenal of ways he has to score, in the low post and the high post, he'll face you up, take you to the rim. You've seen videos on the internet of people comparing his moves to KD and LeBron and Kobe. These are guards and forwards, and Embiid's like taking them off the dribble, fade away, mid-range shots on the baseline or taking step back threes off 1 foot. It's crazy. Athletically, he's just a beast on the defensive end, active hands at the steals, and we know he's, prone to send the ball into the fourth row anytime someone tries a layup on him. He's a block machine. Whenever he's healthy, you just get so much production out of him, and his teammates around him are so much better. I mean, he's doing it with really nobody right now. I mean, he got Matisse Thybulle, Seth Curry, a couple other younger guys, but no real superstar with them, and if you look in the East where you got the Brooklyn Nets, you got the Milwaukee Bucks, you got these teams loaded with 2-3 superstars and then players around them. He also has 7 games of 40-plus points this season. I mean, that's just crazy. He's scoring from all 3 levels, like I mentioned. And he has the second-best player efficiency rating in the NBA, second only behind the Joker, Jokic. So it is a close debate, but also, Joel Embiid got the intangibles. I always talk about it. I want a dog. I want a leader, especially if he's going to be the best player, and I want him to be a voice in the locker room. I'm not saying Jokic isn't a leader or is a bad leader, but you hear Embiid talk about all the time how these accolades don't matter. Being the best player doesn't matter to him. He wants championships, and how I think he's handled the Ben Simmons situation is real mature of him, because I know if I was Joel Embiid, I would be dogging Ben Simmons because he's holding back Joel Embiid in his prime days. And Joel Embiid's only kryptonite, in my opinion, is obviously his health. But this season he's been healthy, and the production that they've gotten out of him is insane. And because of that, they're real challengers in the East.
Yeah, and one of the arguments that people would probably make if you're debating these two players is his turnover numbers have been up a good bit this season, but it's hard to really judge a player off his turnovers just because, or judge Jokic in particular. I mean, this is a dude that's pretty much running point guard for the Denver Nuggets. I mean, he's had the ball. He's going to have the ball in his hands more than any other player on the floor. So with that being said, yes, there are going to be some more turnovers that come with that. And Jokic, he's a great passer of the basketball. He wouldn't be top 10 in assists if he wasn't. So obviously, there still is a little bit more room to have more turnovers. And I'm just really excited. The Nuggets and Sixers played earlier this year. The Sixers won, but Jokic had a good 30-point triple-double. And Embiid didn't play that game, but I'm really looking forward. I think it's March 14th, the Nuggets and the Sixers play again. So hopefully both those players will be healthy by then, and that would be a great matchup. If Jokic and Embiid are playing against one another, that's definitely a game I'll be watching for sure. And then maybe if we get a one-on-one comparison there, we can probably make a better argument for who we think's better than who.
Yeah, I really do think it's neck and neck. Like, Jokic is definitely like a creator with the basketball, but recently we've seen Joel Embiid develop. He's starting to take the ball up the court now for the 76ers and start to do the same things that Jokic is doing. And so what it comes down to me, mostly what I spoke to a little bit at the end earlier is just the intangibles. I think Joel's a better leader. He's a lot more athletic. Jokic is doing these things, but like he barely ever dunks. Joel will, poke on somebody. So just the intangibles, I think he's a little more athletic as well. So that's why I got to lean towards Joel Embiid. I'm rooting for the 76ers just for Joel Embiid. They've had a messed up situation all season with one of their stars not wanting to play and just other controversies. So I'm rooting for him, and hopefully they could come out the East and shock everybody.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. Leave down below in the comments who you would pick between Embiid and Jokic. And leave down below who you would think should be the MVP of the NBA right now. If you had to choose one player, who would it be and why? If you enjoyed the video, also leave a thumbs up, hit the subscribe and notification bell. It would be much appreciated. I know we haven't been posting a lot of NBA content lately, but that's very possible to change, especially with college football being over. We've been predominantly a college football channel, but we are open to posting other sports as well. So with the NBA really being the only main season right now, you probably could expect to see some more NBA videos from us. But that's pretty much it for this video, guys. We'll catch you in the next one. See ya.